Hello, Cabana team. This is Christoph with Kaiserworks. I'm going to walk us through some drawings presenting the proposed design for the new lobby and entry area. We're actually going to pitch you two different ideas that are slight variations of each other. Right now we're looking at the existing plan. Here we see that existing Texas ebony. This is the existing sidewalk. As you come in from the north, you pass through these large existing columns and then you find your way to the front door. This dotted line denotes the overhead transition. So the second floor occupies this portion of the plan. Here we have our stairs, and then our bathroom is tucked over here in this triangle. This plan is the second floor, so this portion of the second floor is open to below. In the original design, you would be able to stand here and look down into that first floor lobby from the second floor. Here we have that triangular shaped room. These are the stairs as you arrive at the top of the stairs, and then this is the one office, or the room that's being used as an office, with the balcony directly off just south of that. In this next slide we're showing what we're calling option one, and the entry garden is something that primarily is sort of registering as an extension of this overall floor space. So we have a desert garden that you would walk through, and on your left-hand side as you're walking you would have a water feature, so you'd hear the sound of water. We've added some trees to this existing Texas ebony such that you feel somewhat enveloped by the landscape as you're walking through this entry garden. On the right-hand side as you're walking, this is flipped for the plan view, this is the left-hand side of the plan, but the right-hand side as you're walking, there's somewhat more formal arrangements of outdoor furnishings. There's one sectional area that's tucked underneath of this Texas ebony because we feel that's going to be a great place to sit, and there's a second one that tucks underneath of this. You can see this dashed line here denotes the canopy that we're proposing. So that canopy actually spans a width that is more wide than the lobby area itself. We're borrowing some of the real estate, so to say, on this side of the property by extending a wing wall that is the backdrop to this water feature and also becomes our sign wall, and you'll see that in our elevation in the next couple slides. To talk briefly a little bit more about this water feature, we're seeing this as a cast-in-place concrete water feature that you can actually sit on the edge of. So if you're waiting for somebody to pick you up, this is a perfect spot to sit. You can also arrange these loosely arranged tables and chairs out here such that you have a conversation pit. Two people sitting on the edge of the water feature, two people sitting in tables and chairs. But we see this as these are all the same type of chair, all the same type of coffee table. This feels like instances that you'll find at the Desert Botanical Gardens or even at the Phoenix Zoo, that they've done some nice areas where you have outdoor seating, you're in desert landscape. This is all decomposed granite, so you very much feel like you're in a garden, but it's a lush garden, and we're using trees and other landscape to focus your view. So you're not looking so much at the parking area beyond as much as you are focused on what's in your immediate vicinity. This is a cast-in-place element that would feel very much like the water feature. The materiality would be the same, and so you're walking past these two concrete elements as you're walking in. That gives you a sense of threshold and sort of helps define this area as separate from the parking area beyond. Walking through this large glass pivot door, you're really walking through a large glazing wall that's now a full height glazing wall. That wall exists where we currently have our beam. If I back up 2 slides, this beam line right here that's existing, that beam will remain. These posts will be preserved, and we have a window wall that exists in that same datum. So walking through that front door, here we see a dashed line of what will be the second floor above. So in this space here, you're in a double height space, and in this space here, you're in a double height space. So upon entering into the scene, we've squared off the bathroom. So the bathroom and this sort of utility bar becomes one element. And then directly in front of you, you see the door leading to the pool area. So we're trying to create an access that feels more intentional. Currently, it's a little bit visually confusing as you walk in the space. It's not clear which direction to go. If you're passing through, this is a very straight shot. But at the same time, if you're coming here for the first time, upon opening that door, you can kind of see the lay of the land and see what your options are in the space. We've positioned in this scheme, in this option 1, a desk that sits right at the entry. So this is somewhat similar to what currently exists, but it's just uh, more beautifully designed and more purposeful. There's two chairs that sit adjacent so that there can be a conversation between the person that is manning that desk and whoever's walked through the door to request information about the property, or it's potentially an existing tenant with some questions. Directly facing that, we see doing a nice mid-century Nelson bench with an art piece above it. This is sort of an art moment. We also see this wall as potentially having one grand art piece that's a really oversized, like a 12 foot by 12 foot massive modern art piece. So we're kind of going for a sophisticated but somewhat whimsical modern feel for this interior space. Materially, we're thinking this could very much well be ground concrete, with certain areas like this sitting lounge back here as having some warmth added to it by virtue of an area rug. That area rug could be a pop of color as well. I'm going to move us now to an elevation. So this is standing as you would as you're first approaching this entry. On the left-hand side here, you can see the water feature. This is 18 inches tall, so it creates a sitting surface, so you can sit at the edge of this. And then at the end, as a backdrop, you see this large natural wood trellis that actually folds down just behind the water feature, and that becomes our signage moment. So we see this as being illuminated at night. It's what you see as you're driving by. And this wood element brackets very nicely our glazing wall. This here is our primary entry door. Here you can see some of the tables and chairs that would be on that left-hand side of the path, and the somewhat more intimate but more formal sitting area is behind this concrete wall that's on the right-hand side of your entry path. I'll go back to a second elevation later. Right now I want to present to you, this is option 2. Slight variation on option 1. We are sort of investigating the idea of a coffee shop component, or at least something that feels like a coffee shop component, being part of this this entry and lobby space. So there's an existing coffee function that you have that's sort of a Keurig self-serve. So the question is, could the person who mans this part of the office also sit at this station and make coffee for people as they're coming in? This would be a place for prospective tenants, but also people that are simply living in the area. They have a question about their unit, or they just want to come in and chat with the person that's working there. In this iteration, this is sort of a forward-thinking approach to what does the lobby of an apartment complex become in its best iteration. And the way we saw it was this becomes a third space. Everyone's interested in third spaces, going to coffee shops that are extensions of living rooms. And so both this coffee shop moment that happens here, as well as the garden that precedes it, becomes a place that people want to hang out because it feels inviting and comfortable. So that's something that we could add to the space in a way that we feel does not really retract from the functionality that you're providing in the space. So in this iteration, we have a 42-inch high bar that would be situated here with bar stools, and then there'd be one bar stool directly behind. This becomes a workstation as well. There would be a laptop and potentially a point of sale. Whether or not coffee is for sale or if it's a complimentary item, that would be up for discussion. And then as an option, what we're showing on the south end of this, we initially just simply had our window wall that was coming across here with a back bar, but we went out and kind of measured the space behind, and you could actually work this out such that you would have an inside-outside bar. So you'd have awning-style windows that when the weather's beautiful, these windows can be open, this door can be propped, and this really has a strong connection with the pool. Guests from the pool can come over here and sit and have a drink, and all of a sudden you've created sort of a lifestyle image with your lobby space that provides the same functionality as it did previously, but there's this new layer of life that's sort of breathed through the space that we think could really be a forward look at what these lobby spaces can add for the community as an amenity, not just pure pragmatics. And just to speak briefly on the nuts and bolts of this line here, this window currently comes back at a 45-degree angle, and we're proposing cleaning up some of the sort of 1960s, 70s angled geometry by taking this as a new window wall that would come straight across to meet this window on this side. Currently, this window as existing goes another approximately 20 inches north. So this would be a modification of this existing window, but one which we feel does a good job of cleaning up the space, modernizing the space in a way that's very functional. This is a slide of the second floor, which for both option one and option two, these are the same programmatically. Our thinking is you get to the top of the stairs, we do feel creating some openness and connectivity between the upstairs and downstairs is essential. It feels very hermetic in that upstairs currently. And so one thought we had was this is the computer bar. This is where you come with your laptop. You could come here with a book and a coffee. And you're actually sitting at a rail. You're looking down into this coffee shop area, or in the previous option, you'd be looking down into the lounge area. Again, arriving at the top of the stairs, turning to the right, we see this as an office flex space that is flanked on the left-hand side and the right-hand side with full height storage. We're showing here a desk or work surface. This is what you currently have in this office area to the south, and we're proposing that is integrated in this office flex space. On most days, we would see this being used as the office. So this rolling door could be locked and secured, but as an option, this desk could have a roll down feature or a locking feature where the doors close off the desk and can be locked, and this space can be given over as a flex space. It's an extension of this entire second floor. So the door is rolled back open, and whether you're having a bridal shower or somebody wants to have a community meeting, this entire area can be used for a lounge area as well as an extension with a community table at the center of the space. So this community table at the center of the space, again, borrowing from what Google and Facebook office models are doing today, there's more flexible spaces where you can grab a laptop or your tablet, sit at a table, go to the lounge, go to the computer bar, and you can get work done in that capacity. You don't necessarily have to be sitting at a CPU. On this north end, we've had discussions of different options. One option is this is full height glass, so you could stand at that glass and look down. Another option is if acoustic separation is not key, another option is that this is simply a balcony that you would stand at. You could actually look down into this first floor area. Something I didn't mention previously that I'll just go back to quickly. This here we're seeing as our DVD case. Similar to what you have now, this is something that we're just sort of tucking around the corner. We don't see this as a feature item, and actually would anticipate this being phased out more and more as streaming media becomes less and less expensive. And I'm going to take us now to some sections and just walk you through these briefly. This is again coming from the north-hand side. You're seeing that canopy that you're walking underneath of. This line back here denotes the water feature. That's the 18-inch tall element, and then that terminates in this slat wall on the far side. Entering into the space, this section is cutting through that bathroom door. So here we see the bathroom door. This is the office flex space. And again, this would be a glass wall, or it would be a balcony that you're looking down with no glass separation. This section is being cut looking the opposite direction. So again, walking through this outdoor entry garden court into the lobby space. The grandness of the sort of vertical height in the space is our asset. This is something we really want to show off, and we feel that this will feel very nice with these elements sitting in the space, whether it's the coffee shop as we're showing here, or if it's the lobby space and the leasing office desk would be at the front of that space. This last slide is very similar to what I've shown previously. It's simply cutting through the water feature. So here you can see the two bounding edges of the water feature. This is the water between. Again, water does a lot to transport people, take them away from their environment. You lose the sound of traffic and the freeway beyond, and it's much more about the smells of the plantings, the fact that you're walking underneath the canopy of trees, and the canopy of CABANA, this wood sculptural element that you pass underneath of as you go into the lobby space. So we look forward to your thoughts on this. Thank you very much.